Welcome everyone to the show. We have a special guest today, Jaylen Vasanji. Did I say that correct?
Yep.
He is a big LSU fan, a big sports fan, but specifically LSU. And he got to go to the LSU versus Alabama game that just happened last Saturday, one of the biggest games. It was a big game for Baton Rouge, so he got to experience it. But he also has his own show on YouTube where he talks about. Do you just talk about LSU or other sports too?
It's LSU and a
LSU.
little bit of NFL, but
Okay, so he breaks down the LSU Tigers for us. So I'm excited to have him on. So welcome, Jaylen. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like how old you are, how did you get into the
uh,
show?
well, my name is Jaylen. I'm 11 years old, and I think my dad just like when I started t-ball, I just loved the sport and I wanted to get more into sports. I'd say I probably started watching LSU around first grade. Really didn't understand the basics. It took me about 2 years to understand, and then in third grade, I knew some things, and then I knew what would happen. I knew the players for LSU, and that was championship year. So I guess third year of knowing football is a charm. But yeah, and then I just fell in love with the game, and I love going to Tiger games.
So championship year, that would be 2019 with Joe Burrow that
Yep.
year when he
hmm
won. Okay, well that was a
That's
good
when
year.
I understand the basics, and then last year I fully know what they were talking about.
Yes. So do you do any studying? Because I've watched a couple of your shows and you sound like an analyst on ESPN. Like you really break it down.
It's hard to be a middle schooler and also do this stuff too. And I also do after sports activities. So I have to find free time and use my time. I usually just use ESPN or LSU Sports, and that's it.
To get your
Hands
notes.
down.
So what are your after school activities? What sports do you play?
I just finished flag football season. Now I'm playing basketball, and my full time sport is baseball, which is coming up in the spring. But football season's around, and it's more because LSU this
Yeah.
week with the win and going to Atlanta.
Yes. So tell us about you got to go to this game. This wasn't your first game in Tiger Stadium.
No, this was like
No.
my 10th game. We usually
Okay.
get season tickets every year, and I try to find the best games I can go to.
Yes,
And
but
so,
and this was one of the best. So it was a sold out game for those that don't know LSU sports and Bama, but it's a big rivalry. Nick Saban used to coach at LSU, so there's that rivalry with them. But it was a sold out game and a big game and a big win for LSU. So what was it like to be there through all of that? I know it was pretty loud in there.
it was loud. I try to do my best to scream, but me eating the popcorn, I can't scream with my popcorn in my mouth. So I'm eating popcorn, and all of a sudden the Tigers just come up with a big play. And actually, I had a theory. Every time the scoreboard wasn't working, a little bit. So like sometimes it would shut down, but they would
Mhm.
still show the plays. So every time the scoreboard shut down, LSU would have a bad play. But every time the scoreboard was up, it would have a good play. So
Hmm. Maybe there was
but that
something
all
to
changed in overtime
that.
in that game.
Yes. So who did you go to the game with?
I went to my dad and we tailgated at a couple of my friends at their tailgate right by the PMAC. And so we saw the buses and we saw them, and
That's where
it
they
was
walked
cool.
down before the
No,
game,
not
right?
when they walked down because
Okay.
we had to go to the tailgate because there was walking traffic. And
Oh,
so we just saw the buses. We saw the buses pull up and then we head out.
okay. There was a sweet photo of you, I think when the game when the Tigers won and it was with you and your dad, but you just looked so excited. What was that feeling like when the Tigers did pull it off in overtime?
I mean, you barely ever see that as an LSU fan. You know, Alabama is always a good football program, and they always have high expectations. You know, LSU had 35 players in December. Alabama probably has 35 five-star players by December. So just beating Alabama, it's just a huge accomplishment. You know, there's a saying where you never see a man cry unless a milestone has happened, and that's when Steph Curry did when he won the NBA Finals. So a
Yes.
milestone happened, and it was the first time LSU beat Bama at Death Valley since 2010. And so It was just a
Yeah.
huge victory for the program, and now we're just one step closer to SEC championships.
Yes. Do you think they'll go to the playoffs, LSU?
Like that's a tough one. If we beat Georgia and somehow Tennessee just loses all three of their games this week and next week and those stuff, I think we have a shot. I mean, TCU's in there. We just need TCU to lose some games, but I think for sure Alabama won't make it. But I think we have a slightly chance, and if we don't, I'm just proud of the Tigers this year.
Yes. Well, yeah, just winning this game. I mean, I think all LSU fans will be excited, even if they don't make it after beating Nick
If we win the
Saban.
SEC championship and don't win the playoffs, that say, hey, we're champions of the SEC. Georgia can win the national championship, but let us wear our SEC championship hats. Y'all wear your national championship hats, and we're fair, 50-50.
Right. So
But
who are
also, oh yeah,
uh-huh.
you can finish. Oh,
No, you go ahead.
Georgia actually, when you look at Georgia really hasn't played any real opponents except Tennessee. So like Georgia barely went beating Missouri, so that probably had some talk in it, and they just haven't had a huge win. But Tennessee, usually when you look at the Georgia Florida rivalry, it's not. It's always like it's a good game. No, Florida is. It's just been an awful program lately,
Yeah.
and so it's always Georgia every year. And so I won't be shocked if Georgia wins the championship.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. They did have that good win, so they beat Tennessee this past Saturday, and so knocked number one. And again, we talked about this. I do a show with another one of my friends who is a sports fan, and we talked about how LSU pretty probably knocked Alabama out of the college playoffs because they gave them their second loss, which Nick Saban's not used to. So, how
Mhm.
do you feel about Brian Kelly as the new coach?
I just love the man. He's helped this program so much. I can't remember the last time they actually, apparently, according to LSU Gold, they actually broke history. It's the first time they beat Auburn and Florida on the road in the same year. So I just like Brian Kelly. You know, he recruited so many good players and coaches that helped him. But I think one problem is we got to fire Brian Polian, that special teams coach. I don't think LSU has never had a perfect special teams game. They were so close against Alabama, but they shanked the kick and they went to the 40-yard line. Probably most important drive. But also, I told my friends, I was like, well, this is a different special teams than the Florida State game where Malik Neighbors, two forced fumbles. And
Mhm.
I think personally, Malik Neighbors has showed up and he said, hey, I forget about this game. I'm going out here and I'm doing my best. And I think same with Kayshawn. You know, you saw him. He had no receptions that first half. First half. Now he's
Mhm.
ranked possibly the best wide receiver in the draft class at number 2. So I think these Tigers can go very far and possibly win the SEC, and it would be close if they win national championships.
Yeah. Do you think Jaden Daniels has something to do with Booty's success and just the whole team? Like, how do you think he is?
I
This
think
was a big
well
win.
at the beginning of the year we saw Jaden Daniels more as a running quarterback, not as a throwing quarterback. And people would usually hate a running quarterback. They need a quarterback that can throw first, run second. He was run first and then throw second. But I think his breakout game that changed him up was that Auburn game. Down
Mhm.
17 and they won 21 or 28 to 17. But that was a game that I personally and my friend we were at their house and I was like, this is a new quarterback. I bet you Brian Kelly talk to him and be like, when your fans are booing you, that means something is wrong. Like you can be winning 56-0, but you can have Malik Neighbors wide open, but Jaden Daniels is going to run the football and the booing comes. That's not good. But I think Jaden Daniels has really good. I mean, a good wide receiver can't be good without a good quarterback. So that's just like saying if Patrick Mahomes was not the quarterback for the Chiefs, would Tyreek Hill be the best wide receiver currently?
Yeah. It depends on that quarterback. That's what they talk about on ESPN with when it comes to Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't have Devontae Adams and Tom Brady. Just like it all depends on that good quarterback for those other guys. Like they're nothing without the quarterback.
And I
So
think it
yeah.
also has got to do. They got a new wide receiver coach. I think all these coaches they're brand new.
Mhm.
Brad Davis actually is the only coach to return, and he's the O-line coach. And that's actually the most shocking position ever because we all know why Coach O, technically the possibly most reason why he got fired was because of that O-line situation. We went into 2019 with possibly the best people ever. Nobody really knew who Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were that year until all of a sudden Justin Jefferson scores a touchdown and hits the gritty. And what do you know? Kids are hitting the gritty when they hit a three-pointer or scoring a touchdown or hitting a home run. You never know. So, and Jamar
Yeah.
Chase in 2018, let's be honest, terrible wide receiver. He wasn't really that good. Now comes in 2022 Rookie of the Year. And I went to a broadcasting camp and I made a prediction. I made a bold prediction, a risky prediction. I said that the Chiefs were going to beat the Bengals. The Bengals were going to beat the Chiefs in 2021 in the AFC Championship.
And
And
they
I
did
was
that.
right.
That was a good game. There were some good playoff games last year heading into the Super Bowl.
So I have a friend. We play a game every year in the playoffs. It's called the postseason game, and we
Hmm.
create our own brackets, and we have the teams, and we create our own bracket. So every round is worth a different point. So first round would be one, second point would be two, and last year it was a tie. So we just says whoever wins the Super Bowl will win the game, and so I lost, and I had a huge lead, but. And we also do for bonus points, we do over and unders, and then we did who would win the MVP. He guessed Aaron Rodgers and he got those extra points. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you are amazing. And so this one friend, do your other friends talk about sports like on the level you do, or they're like,
no,
well, you
no,
know a
no.
lot.
They call me the talkie kid at school. I only talk about sports, only the important times.
There's nothing wrong with that. So
So
what do you, well, I want to go back. You said talked about crying with when a man cries with, it being a
mhm.
milestone. Brian Kelly did shed a little bit of tears when Holly Rowe was interviewing him after the game. Um, so I agree with you on that because it was like a milestone for him because he's been trying to beat Nick Saban.
And that was his first time ever that he beat him
Yes,
because he lost in the playoffs in 2020.
yes, when he was with Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, so you are so right with that because he's not the type of guy that I feel shows emotions too much, and he like really got uh emotional on it. Yes.
Well, I think
Um
he learned his mistake against the Florida State game. I think everyone was like, "Oh, he should have gone for two. Oh, he should have gone for two. Why did he kick the field goal?" I think in that important situation, he was like, "I need to listen to these people. I'm gonna go for the two." And apparently,
yeah.
Scaredy Saban calls a timeout, and OC wins the game.
Yes, that is true. I was at the Florida State game, and that was pretty heartbreaking at the end for that overtime. Everyone was on their seats because we caught back up, and then they didn't trust him. And I agree with what you're saying because he did seem to trust Jaden, um, and let them go for it, and it paid off. And trust his guys, and then Mason Taylor, freshman, he gets that touchdown for the extra point. So.
And I did a post game show on that game, and I was reading something on ESPN, and it said he felt comfortable with the play, like he knew like this is a success play, like this is the formation you got to watch out for when the Tigers when they're in the red zone and they're at the 2 yard line. You got to watch out for this play. They're putting everybody on the line, and they're bringing Mason Taylor back and forth, and then he runs that little short route and he scores every time.
Yep. Wow. You are just so amazing. I'm just so blown away because it's like I'm talking to an NFL analyst or a sports analyst. Your show, you're very articulate and you looks like you do your homework. And you said you read ESPN and follow all of that and everything with the Tigers. So who are your favorite players on the team this year?
I like Jada Daniels. He was pretty good. Couple of good games. I also do like this defense. I like Jarek Bernard Converse. He's been very good. And then a guy who I actually didn't know till the Southern game, Michael Baskerville. He got a pick six against Southern. He's been very good. Um, I would say I like John Emery. It's funny how he runs. It's just he apparently he has the nastiest juke. It was against the Alabama game. Also, and he just came off from academic suspension
Mhm.
from last year, so now seeing him is really good. Um,
Yeah.
I think a freshman, I might, if I had to choose a freshman of the year, I would choose Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver. I mean, this guy, I know New Mexico State, a small team, but whatever. Jukes some people out and scores a touchdown. I mean, a freshman doing that, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, at a big school too, like with SEC, the SEC being a part of that conference and coming from a high school to a college program, that is pretty big. It's a whole different world. So what do you want to do when you grow up? Do you want to go into sports
I would like to go to
broadcasting?
ESPN. Yes, I would like to.
So what was you mentioned that you went to a broadcasting camp. What was that like and how did you
Um,
get into that?
So my uncle, he was looking up some things up and he found this SBC play-by-play broadcasting camp, and it teaches all the fundamentals like, okay, PTI, this is what PTI is. You know, what's the difference between play-by-play radio and TV play-by-play. And then also is like we would pick sports, like what do you want to talk about? You pick a group, and the first day you pick a group and you decide like, hey, okay, we're doing PTI and we're going to talk about baseball or we're going to talk about basketball. Then Tuesday they go to their college studio and we record what we've been practicing for. And Wednesday or Thursday, this is usually the funnest days, we get to go to that professional team stadium. So I went to Dallas 2 years ago. I went to AT&T Stadium. I just
Ooh.
went to Atlanta, and we just went to the Brave Stadium because they just won the World Series that year. So we saw
Uh-huh.
the trophies and everything. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then on Thursday they teach us how to anchor, which is we read the script off the thing, and
The teleprompter. Uh-huh.
yeah, and then we read it off, and then we also do pre and post game. So like that was when I went to Atlanta. It was currently the All-Star game. So
Mhm.
a lot of people did the pre and post game, but I had a group that we liked SEC football, so we did a pre and post SEC media day, which was shocking. Everyone was surprised. And then they also teach us how to do top 10 plays, how to broadcast the top 10 on Sports Center. And so yeah, it's very fun. And on Friday, they separate us into bunks by age divisions. And so the bunk, one person creates a fantasy league, and so we all play fantasy football together. I'm currently in the league. I suck at fantasy. I'm like third in my division, and I'm currently in the losers bracket, not in the winners bracket. But yeah, and then we do sports Jeopardy. Of course, all the older kids win. Actually my bunk, my group, we actually
Mhm.
broke history. We were the first younger group to get third place or higher. No group has ever done that. So in
Nice.
Dallas, and we say then our goodbyes, and then we head out, drive to wherever we're going back home, and then I try to remember all the stuff. They teach us some stuff vocal, what you should do before it, like
Mhm.
what you need to say, like because like I can jam out all this information, but they taught us like, okay, these are the important things to say, like when you're doing
Mhm.
your play-by-play broadcast. Don't just say like, oh, good run, look at all the other features, like, oh, this is very good blocking. Like if I were to do a play-by-play on Jaden Daniels run, I would be like, Jaden Daniels runs, oh, he's running, oh, he's at the 15-yard line, oh, what an absolute block by someone, and he scores a touchdown. It's all that extra stuff. You just don't say he hikes it, he runs, he scores
Yeah.
touchdown. Brian Kelly goes for two. Oh, he gets it. Play by play, you gotta say everything. Mason Taylor when he's going back and forth, and this is LSU's trick play. They're going back and forth. Oh, and he scores it. It's just that, and it's very fun to go to. And
Yeah.
usually, since like we were supposed to go to a Braves game and broadcast it, but they were away for a series, and so
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm playing fantasy football too. I play every year and I'm not doing so well. I didn't get good picks, so I'm losing. And I have Chris
Olave.
Olave. They're just not doing good for me. He's okay for me, but yeah, I'm losing too, and I don't like it. But yeah. Um, so you baseball is your main one. Did you watch the World Series? Who do you have a favorite team?
I
NBL,
do.
MB,
I like the
MLB?
Yankees. Yankees.
Oh, so you're a little upset.
Yes, I am. I don't like it when the Astros win.
Yeah, my friend that I also do the show with, she's an Astros fan, so she was super
Oh.
excited. But I do like I'm a Dodgers fan because I'm from California, so I'm a Dodgers fan, but I do like Aaron Judge because he's from California.
I don't know what the free agency is talking about. I hope he stays, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
And
we
he's
got,
just
huh?
oh, you can finish. You can finish.
You go ahead.
He's the superstar on the team. He broke the leader in
Yes.
home runs. So I expect Aaron Boone, the manager, general managers, to throw in all the cash they need because this is our superstar. He was the main
Yeah.
reason why he helped us and
Yeah.
currently sitting as the fourth best team. And we had a downfall after the All-Star break. We went from being one of the best teams into the All-Star break, currently sitting second in the ALCS. That is okay, but when you start as first, you got to end as first. You
Yeah.
can't drop down to second. That's just bad. But I'm happy with the performance. Yeah, Yankees did the good this year, and just
So
excited.
what made you like the Yankees being, I mean, I
Judge,
know we don't have a team here, so
Aaron Judge. So
okay,
actually,
for Aaron.
so my mom's uncle, or yeah, my mom's uncle. So he actually is a Yankees fan, and we went to his house over, and it was a Yankees Red Sox game, and Yankees won, and I just became a Yankees fan after that.
Awesome. And who's your NFL team? Saints?
I'm a Saint.
Okay. Me too. Well, and I do like the Raiders. I have two teams because again, I'm from LA, but the Raiders aren't playing so well either. So what are you thinking about the Saints season?
It's terrible. I think I can now see why Sean Payton actually retired left, and now I actually just made a YouTube short on this, and they're still going on a quarterback search. They can't seem to find their starting quarterback after
Yeah,
Drew Brees left. Usually, you're like, oh look, Rivers retires from the Colts. Oh look, let's just bring Carson Wentz. That was easy, and he left. Now they get Matt Ryan. So it's like they bring a quarterback in, he leaves. They bring another quarterback, leave. Matt Ryan's probably going to leave, but we don't know yet. But I think what they're doing right now is starting Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston. No, I think you need to surprise them. I think you go Aaron, because they're playing the Steelers this week. So I think what you
hmm
do is you start Andy Dalton the first drive because they're gonna do all their film on them because they assume that he's gonna start. So they're gonna do all his film on him, but you do Andy Dalton, start him for one drive, and then take him out the game and put Jameis Winston in because they have no film on him. And so
True.
probably win the game by that.
Yeah.
Also, we are very unlucky with injuries. Our two key wide receivers are injured. And
Yes.
let's just trade Michael Thomas. He's always injured. We can probably
I
get some
know.
we can get some good draft picks for some better people. Jarvis Landry, he was good. He made a statement against that Falcons game, did terrible in the first and then came back, made a huge play. And so he's just injured. And then injuries just keep on happening to this team. And
They
if we
do.
didn't have injuries right now, I think we would be sitting top of the NFC South. But it's just sad to see that the Falcons are better than us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad season. I agree with the injuries on Michael Thomas. I'm just like that's it's always a foot injury, I think. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, come on now.
I think what they should do is personally, you shouldn't do this as a team, but I say you keep on losing and get the first pick in the draft. Draft like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, one of those guys, and then see what he does in preseason. Like
Yeah.
don't start Andy Dalton, don't start Jameis Winston. Let him do his reps at training camp, but start one of these young quarterbacks. Because I'm especially looking for them to draft the quarterback.
We
Was I
need, yeah.
shocked when they drafted Ian Buck? A little. I wasn't expecting him to come, but he made a start against the Dolphins, and boom, I didn't like him after all. I think he was probably the main reasons why we lost that game, and I can see why he left now.
Yeah.
Just
I
not
agree
getting
with
enough reps.
yeah, I agree with the young quarterbacks because Alabama quarterbacks that have come into the league are doing very well. Jalen Hurst, well, he's a Alabama in
Oklahoma, we can
Oklahoma.
debate on that one. He prefers
He's a
to
little
be
bit
called
both.
Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, and Tua, because Tua stole his spot in
And
college.
then
But
Mac
yeah,
Jones,
Tua
Mac Jones,
and Mac Jones.
and then these Alabama running backs,
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, else is one? Oh, I forgot. I know they got some good wide receivers in there. Oh nope, Jerry Judy, Julio Jones. Oh, Mark Ingram.
Hmm.
He went to Alabama. Um, yeah, I mean Alabama superstars come in. When
Yeah,
it's a draft and it's either Alabama or Georgia or LSU, if one of those SEC teams wins the national championships, booms fire, all of them
you're
leave
gonna get them.
and
Yeah,
they get them. And then this is where Nick Saban comes in, and this is where he does his job recruiting really good quarterbacks like Mac
yeah,
Jones. Everyone expected him low expectations, but he rised up and got second place in the Heisman.
yeah. And Bryce got it, and well, I think he was talks for the Heisman still. I don't know about now, but
And personally, I don't think now. I think a person who's in Heisman watch right now, Hendon Hooker, Tennessee quarterback. I mean, everyone has low
well,
expectations on Tennessee. They're gonna have those terrible seasons. No, they came up, they beat Alabama, and they said we're a contender. It's like what
yeah.
Brian Kelly says: October is for pretenders, November is for contenders. So they came up, they rise. And I was actually so I got family who went to Florida. I have family who went to
Hmm.
LSU, and so we all go to Florida. Not Florida.
Oh,
We go to Atlanta to my aunt's house, and we watch the game. We watch the LSU and Florida game. It's kind of like a family rivalry in our family.
yeah.
And I actually did a show on that. I did a show with one of my LSU uncles and a Florida uncle.
I
And
saw that.
and they got a pretty cool house. So we had some pretty good decorations. Right beside the camera was a pool. So I had all my cousins get in the pool. So they were swimming during the show. And then some people were in the background during the show. And it was a fun experience. And I
Yeah.
like it when I do shows with other people. It's fun, but then just me sitting in front of the camera and talk. I like it when other people are around me and I can ask the questions instead of asking the questions to myself and then answering to
Right.
myself.
Was that weird at first when you started doing the show?
Yeah,
Like
so
talking?
we were watching the Ohio State and Minnesota game last year, and all of a sudden my mom comes to me and is like, "Hey Jaylen, you know how we spent so much money on that SBC broadcast and you still don't want to do a show on that? Yeah, we have a camera, we have lights for you. You may do a show. It's a good earns of that money." So we did the UCLA show and it blew up and we kept on doing it more and more. And I try to upload I try to do research every day, but it's
Hmm.
just after school activities and then homework. And now
Yeah.
now it's just harder. I have to find some free time to do some stuff. Like my free
Yeah.
time is usually Tuesdays or Thursdays, and it's hard because
Yeah.
school, sports.
You have a packed schedule. So your mom, I was going to ask you that. How did you get into doing your show? So your mom kind of pushed you into doing the
Yeah.
YouTube
Hmm.
or encouraged you?
Well, it started off from the beginning where my uncle, who actually I would do like these short videos, like when I was
Mhm.
younger, and I would do these short videos on like uh broadcasting videos, but I had no idea what I was talking about. And
Yeah.
so all of a sudden my uncle comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, I want you to do a college game day pregame show for the Alabama and Notre Dame fan," because he went to Notre Dame. So I did
Hmm.
it. That blew up. And then I did it with a friend. And then me and my friend decided, hey, let's do the championship because this one blew up. So we did the championship. I'm pretty sure that one blew up. And then ever since I just started doing this, and now I've been creating many videos. I try to upload YouTube shorts and
Yeah.
get some views in there and trying to get hard and becoming an ESPN analyst.
Well, also, I think you're going to become one. Maybe you'll be the youngest one to ever be on there because, again, I enjoy your shows and following along. We'll be sure to share so y'all can go check out and learn more about that LSU and Alabama game because I saw that you broke it down and some notes on Nick Saban and what he said and just a bunch of stuff. So do you do all the creatives behind it? So like you said, you told your cousins to get in the pool. Do you do all of like that production side?
No, no,
Like
no. So like when we saw the schedule, we were like, hey, look, the schedule's out. So we checked it out and we saw like, oh look, this game is during fall breaks. The LSU and Florida game is during fall break. So we were like, yeah, no, I have no school on Friday, so let's just go fly to Atlanta, do it, watch the game, do a pregame show, and then play with our cousins because it's cousins. And yeah, so we did it, and my aunt decided, or me and my dad and my aunt, we decided, hey, what should we do? Should we do a live play-by-play reaction with everyone in the family and see what they had today? Should we do a pregame show? Should we do a live pregame show? Which we did the live pregame show. And so she was like, hey kids, hop in the pool, and she decorated the thing for me. And it was really cool and it was fun.
Yeah, so it's almost like a family thing. Everyone pitches
Yes.
in on
Mm-hmm.
on everything.
And
That
then
is so awesome.
I have like family in the back in the behind the camera telling me to like speak up, Jaylen. Come on, stop looking at your phone. Because I had my phone with me so I could like because
Your
ESPN
notes.
they upload a preview every week. So I try
Yeah.
to look at the preview. So I'm talking through the preview. And so I have to look down to my phone because I forget to write it down. And so yeah, it was very fun. I very
Yeah.
liked it. And since next year, LSU, Florida's coming to LSU, we're thinking, hey, let's buy some tickets and we all go to the game.
Yeah,
And
so your family has to come
yeah,
to
so
Baton
they can
Rouge.
now watch the game. The original plan was to actually go to Florida and actually go to
Mhm.
Gainesville, but we just decided it's Gainesville is not a cool place to go. So we just went to Atlanta. And so yeah, I just like it. And if LSU
Yeah.
plays Florida in the SEC championship, we'll definitely be going.
Oh, that'll be a fun family event then. I think when
Mhm.
there's rivalries, it makes it fun within the house. Because then you guys can kind of it's a friendly battle. Like
It's a
who's
friendly
back?
battle.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for taking time. We'll have to have you back on, especially if LSU makes it, so you can break some stuff down to us. But this is great, and I'm gonna put your link to your YouTube channel so that folks can go check that out and check out that Florida video that you guys did with your
Mhm.
family, and the Alabama one, and to just stay tuned when you put up more videos. Again, your stuff is great. I love you have your lower third stuff on the screen and the scrolling of the game, everything. It's just awesome what you are doing. I love
We
it.
did it. So we did it like 5 days before like the game actually would LSU and Florida
Mhm.
State would happen, and we were looking through websites. We were looking like because currently we were using the camera app. Actually, we were using
Okay.
camera and we were uploading files from the YouTube, and we were like, hey, now this is actually going successful. Like, let's buy you some stuff. So I'm actually using a microphone right now.
Hmm.
I have lights around, so yeah, I
Oh,
also have
you're all
LSU
professional.
helmet right there. I got that for my birthday. And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, your room from this point, you can really tell that you're a sports fan, and I love the setup. It's perfect for your background
But
for
yeah.
your show.
And then I
Yeah.
got that. I don't know if they can see it, but that black sign right there, it's got to the two arms right there. One holds the LSU, one holds the Saints one. And so we've been trying to find decorations to put around the show. You know, we don't want
Yeah.
the boring show that just has him and talking. Like you need the fun decorations. Like when you go to college game day, you know, there's all the people around it. They have the two helmets together.
Yes.
And so it's
Yes.
just fun. And I like this. And if we keep on blowing up, now we can find a studio. Well, not find a studio, but instead of doing them in my room, I was thinking of doing one outside, but that didn't work out. I didn't want to do one because it was a hot one. But yeah,
Oh.
we were looking through websites and we found this website called Restream, and it
Mm-hmm.
was on the bottom. And when LSU posts their pregame, when they post the preview, they have like a little title thing on the top. And so I just usually type that down. And so that's how we usually get it.
You
And so,
really do your
yeah.
research. Yeah, I love it. Well, I know we'll see you on ESPN one day, covering it or college game day. That is one of my favorite shows during football season. I get up, I love their stories on the players and just all of those guys breaking it down. And you sound just like them. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you again for Jaylen. Sorry. Your name is like Jaden Daniels. Jaylen for taking time to do this interview with us and to share his love for sports and for the Tigers. And we'll be following along again because we love your content and hope to see you on ESPN. Maybe you can get on ESPN radio here locally to start. So
Maybe we can do one if LSU wins SEC, a post
yes,
game show against
yes,
Georgia.
I would love to do a show with you. You're great. So yes, so everyone make sure that you subscribe and like our show, but also the show is the JV show with
You can
Jaylen
just type in
Vasanji.
my name, Jaylen Vasanji, and it'll come up.
Yes, and we'll put those in our show notes so that you guys can find that, and in our social media as well. So you guys be sure to go follow. And thank you so much. And so we'll see what LSU plays Arkansas this weekend.
Arkansas.
Right. Okay. So we'll be watching for that. But thank you guys for tuning in.
And also Arkansas will possibly be my last video one. We're going on a road trip for during the UAB and Texas A&M game for Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
Arkansas will be the last video if y'all are watching the JV show. Arkansas will be the last one, but don't worry, I'm still coming out with more content after Texas A&M. Expect a lot of videos to be posted for SEC championship.
So we can still find content.
Yes, you will still find more content for LSU football.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
All righty.